So you're now working as a graduate, but what do you do with your amazing graduate money? Well, in this video, what I'm going to do is basically explain to you how you can invest that money and also what I personally do to invest mine. So let's start off with the big question. What is investing? And many people have different interpretations of what the word investing means. So some people might say, you might invest your time in something. Some people say buying, books and stuff to help you learn is investing in yourself. All of these things are true, but in this video, I'm going to focus purely on the financial definition of investing. Okay, one thing I want to highlight first is that the difference between saving money and investing money. So saving money, in essence, is just putting your money away in a bank and basically putting it somewhere safe where you know no one will touch it and you can get it back at any time. But investing your money is a bit different because the main principle of investing your money is that you're using your money to make more money. So this brings us nicely to why you should invest your money. The first reason why you should invest your money is because, well, if your money is just going to be sitting in a bank and, not working for itself, if you will, then your purchasing power of your money is going to go down. Because you may be familiar with the term inflation, and inflation basically means that the higher the inflation rate is, less your money is going to be worth in the future. Because, for example, say if you can buy maybe, a packet of crisps for £1 today, in the next few years, your packet of crisps could cost £2. And this means the £1 you have in, say, today, you can't buy a packet of crisps in a few years' time because then it's worth £2. And if you are to put your money in a bank, your money is going to stay the same. So if you put £1 in the bank, you're only going to get £1 out in the years to come. But if you invest your money, then you could change that £1 into maybe £10, and therefore you will be able to afford a bag of crisps. In fact, you might even be able to afford much more than just one bag of crisps. The best way to think about it is that if you don't invest your money, but instead just save your money, you are actually losing money. Another reason why you should be investing as a graduate is because, well, if you start investing earlier, then you're going to have a much greater return on your investment as time goes on. Because there's this common sort of understanding of when you're investing, which is basically the earlier you invest, the more value that investment will have in years to come. Because as the time goes on, so, give it 10 years, give it 20 years or something like that, the value of, say, maybe £1 that you invest today could be worth, £20, £40, £80, in the future. And that's purely because if you're investing in the stock market as a whole, then it's likely that your investment will keep growing and growing as your interest will start accumulating, which means that when you gain interest from your investments, it'll get reinvested and therefore you keep growing even further. And this is what's called compound interest. And ultimately, this is why the more you're able to earn and therefore invest when you're younger, the higher the likelihood is that you can retire much sooner. And when I mean retire, I don't mean you have to stop working, but what I mean is that you have the option to, quit your job, never have to work again, and still be able to live a comfortable life and do the things you want to do. Amazing. So now we know why we should invest and what investing actually basically is on a general scope. But let's go into more specific things. So how can you actually invest your money as a graduate in the United Kingdom? But before we go into this bit, I do want to say I'm not a financial expert or anything like that. This is just from my own learnings and understandings that I've basically been through and sort of understood. So don't blame me if you lose your money, please, because, well, I'm not a qualified advisor. So definitely do consult a qualified advisor if you want to know officially more about these things. This is just to, get your brain juices going so then you sort of have a rough idea of what you can do with your money. Okay, so after I got that disclaimer out the way, let's carry on with the rest of this video. So in the UK, I'd say the best accounts to really have in order for you to invest money are things called ISAs, which is called what is the acronym again? Let me check. It is an individual savings account. The two main ISAs I would recommend you have as a graduate will be the stocks and shares ISA and the lifetime ISA. Both of these are very useful accounts to have to help you grow your money tax efficiently. But Saga, what does tax efficient mean? Well, let me tell you guys. So tax efficient in essence means that you don't have to pay tax on things like your dividends that you're getting from your shares. You won't have to pay capital gains tax on any, capital gains in your account. And there is another tax, but let me have a look for you. You do not pay tax on any interest earned within these accounts. So basically, any money you make from the money you've put into these ISAs, such as the stocks and shares ISA or the lifetime ISA, you don't have to pay tax on it, which is great because, literally everything you do has tax to it nowadays. Okay, let me briefly cover what a stocks and shares ISA is and what a lifetime ISA is. So a stocks and shares ISA, well, as the name suggests, means you can buy stocks and shares. You can also buy ETFs within the ISA with the money you have. So this means you're basically able to, invest in the stock market and stuff like that, whilst still having a tax efficient way of making money. And with this ISA and in all ISAs in general, you have a maximum limit of £20,000 a year that you can put into any ISA combined. So you might have stocks and shares ISA, you might have another thing called a cash ISA, but basically within one financial year, you're only allowed to put a maximum of £20,000. And you also have to be 18 and over to open this type of account. But let's move on to the lifetime ISA. So the lifetime ISA is slightly different because you basically put in money and the government will give you 25% of what you've put in that financial year up to a limit of £1,000. So technically, the best thing to do with this sort of ISA is just to put a maximum of £4,000 in every year. And so the government will just give you an extra £1,000 on top. So the thing with this ISA is that you can open it when you're 18 and start using it, but you also have to be younger than 40 years old. But since many of you are graduates, it's likely that you're not going to be 40 and you're also going to be older than 18. So, not to worry. The caveat to this ISA account though is you can only spend the money inside that you put inside this ISA if you're buying your first house or you are retiring. And there's other caveats as well, like for example, if you get terminally ill and stuff like that, you can withdraw the money, but I recommend just having a look online and looking at the terms and conditions for the ISA themselves because there might be a few other caveats just to be aware of. But yeah, those are the main ones. So the final bit of this video is basically, well, what do I do with my money that I get from my graduate job? Well, technically, I'm in between jobs right now, if you haven't already watched my other YouTube videos. But yeah, what have I done with the salary that I did get at my graduate job as a software engineer? So I only have one ISA, which is my stocks and shares ISA that I use for investing. And I use the broker called Vanguard because it has really low fees, and basically low fees means that you don't get charged as much on the money you have stored within that account. The fee differences between different ISA providers may vary only by a few fractions of a percent, but if you think about it, when you're starting to, accumulate a lot of wealth within that account, then it really does add up. So instead of, maybe paying £10,000 a year, you might end up paying like £50,000 a year. So, that's a big difference. And so it's always to be aware of like these small fees because, when your money starts accumulating and generating more and more money, you have to be aware that, sometimes these fees, even though they might seem small, they actually can be quite significant. So I personally invest in a ETF, which in essence is like just a cluster of basically a ton of companies and basically a ton of shares within those companies. And that is called, let me read it out for you. It is the FTSE Global All Cap index fund accumulation. And in essence, what that means is it basically covers stocks from companies around the world. And in essence, what that fund is just to track the market as a whole, like the stock market as a whole. So it's very reliable, and it's likely that it will just continually grow and grow every year at a rate of around 10%. So how much was I putting in every month into this account? Well, on average, I was probably putting in about £300 a month. And it's good to spread it out over each month rather than, just putting it as a lump sum at the end of the year, because you want to try and mitigate the effects of the micro fluctuations you get within the stock market. So if you do regularly put money in and often, then it means that, you're not going to feel the effect really of the impacts of, micro fluctuations and so on. So over time, these bumps and troughs will, mean nothing. But maybe you're wondering, why don't I choose specific stocks to invest in? And well, honestly, it's just because the simplest way often is the best way to invest, because it's quite well known that if you're able to, predict the stock price accurately and buy the correct stocks all the time, you're going to be a well-known individual because, well, your net worth is going to begin with a B. So yeah, people like Warren Buffett, obviously they are very talented and they know what they're doing. But the average person, not so much. So I recommend just sticking with one index fund that covers the whole global market cap, and you should be good to go. I mean, it's also less effort, and well, if it's less effort and you're likely to, do better than someone picking individual stocks, then why would you bother picking individual stocks? And that's basically the way I go about investing. So yeah, there's pretty much all there is to know about investing as a graduate. So if you do have any further questions, definitely drop a comment, like the video, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Enjoy your day. See ya, everyone. Bye.